Speaking of intolerable, moving to this, Daily Wire has this report. Former President Barack Obama whitewashed the Islamic terrorist attacks that Hamas committed against Israel last month, where terrorists murdered 1,400 Israelis, wounded 5,300, and kidnapped more than 240 people. Obama made the remarks during an appearance on the leftist podcast Pod Save America late this week, according to a preview clip released by the podcast. So it's kind of a long clip. Probably won't play the whole thing, but let's... Here's Obama. I think this is the first time we've really heard from him, at least in person, since everything started back in early October. And here's Obama in to save the day with his what is supposed to be his kind of sophisticated, nuanced, moral perspective. That's his whole shtick, right? That's his gimmick, to pretend to be morally sophisticated. So he's the guy that's going to come in and say, no, you're all so, you simpletons. Let me explain to you the complexities of this situation. And he tries that here, but not to spoil the ending. Spends a lot of time babbling about it. At the end, he says basically nothing. Let's watch.
If there's any chance of us being able to act constructively to do something, it will require an admission of complexity and maintaining what on the surface may seem contradictory.
Okay, pause it there. Just pause for 1 second. It's exactly what I'm talking about. We must maintain, it requires an admission of complexity. What does that mean exactly? So right off the bat, he just has phrases like this that he drops. It's instinctive for him. Phrases that maybe on the surface initially, if you're naive, may sound smart. And then you think about it for 1 second, you say, well, what is that? Wait, what? Admission of complexity. Okay, let's continue.
That what Hamas did was horrific, and there's no justification for it. And what is also true is that the occupation and what's happening to Palestinians is unbearable. And what is also true is that there is a history of the Jewish people that may be dismissed unless your grandparents or your great-grandparents or your uncle or your aunt tell you stories about the madness.
Okay, we pause for 1 second. I can't even listen to this. Everything about it, including the tone of voice, this is maybe a pet peeve on my part, but it's very common these days that people speak and then they, the tone, their tone goes up at the end of the sentence to make it sound like every sentence is a question. And that's exactly what we're hearing here. Every statement he makes, notice at the end, the tone goes up so that every statement is phrased like a question. And I don't know what that is exactly or when that became popular, but people like Obama, this is what you always hear. But we haven't gotten to the most absurd part yet, so we got to keep listening.
Semitism. And what is true is that there are people right now who are dying who have nothing to do with what Hamas did. And what is true, right? I mean, we can go on for a while. And the problem with the social media and trying to TikTok activism and trying to debate this on that is you can't speak the truth. You can pretend to speak the truth. You can speak one side of the truth. And in some cases, you can try to maintain your moral innocence, but that won't solve the problem. And so if you want to solve the problem, then you have to take in the whole truth. And you then have to admit nobody's hands are clean, that all of us are complicit to some degree.
Okay,
I look at this and I think.
Well, actually, no. I want to, this last part, let's listen to this. Go ahead.
Think back, what could I have done during my presidency to move this forward?
Okay, all right. So that was it. That's what I wanted to get to. So most people are focusing on the moral equivalence of it, and he's just rambling and not saying anything. It's rather than simply stating when terrorists go into a country and massacre innocent people, it's a horrible thing. So he can't just say that. He has to do this moral equivocation back and forth until you lose track of what you were even talking about, and that's really the point here. It is obfuscation disguised as being morally sophisticated. So most people are focusing on that, and for good reason. But I love that part at the end there, where he says, none of our hands are clean. And we have to realize, we're all complicit. What? No, Barack, my hands are clean on this one. I'm not complicit at all. I will tell you right now, I'm not a perfect man by any means. I have nothing to do with any of this. I am not remotely complicit or even partially to blame for anything that is happening in the Middle East, actually. Anywhere in the Middle East. None of it has anything to do with me. I could have never existed, and it would all be happening exactly as it is currently happening. Okay? Maybe I would like to think that I am, as an individual, so significant that everything on the planet would be different if I didn't exist, but that's not the case. So if I never existed, everything currently happening would still be happening. Everything that happened on October 7th would have still happened. Everything happening in Israel would have still happened. And that's the case for you, whoever you are watching this, most likely. You're an important person. Every life is cherished. Every human life is important. But you could have never existed, and all of this stuff would still be happening. So you are not remotely complicit in any of this. You have nothing to do with it. Same for me. So this statement from him, well, we're all complicit. Who's to say? Yes, the Hamas terrorists, they went into Israel and they massacred innocent people, but we're all of our hands are dirty. We're all partially responsible for that. What? Explain that. And now, of course, the Pod Save America dudes are just sitting there soaking this all in. There's no follow-up question. Okay, there's no, what was that? Can you explain that a little bit? What do you mean we're all complicit? You got an audience full of people. I mean, what did they do to contribute to this? They didn't do anything. The holidays are coming up fast, and while you're out shopping for your kids, family, and friends, don't forget to shop for your pets too. I never do. Give your dog the gift of a healthier and happier life with Rough Greens. Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, the founder of Rough Greens, is focused on improving the health of every dog in America. Before I started feeding my dog Rough Greens, I had no idea that dog food is dead food. It contains very little nutritional value. Think about it. Nutrition isn't brown, it's green. Let Rough Greens bring your dog's food back to life. Rough Greens is a supplement that contains all the necessary vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega oils, digestive enzymes, and antioxidants that your dog needs. You don't have to go out and buy new dog food. You just sprinkle Rough Greens on their food every day. Dog owners everywhere are raving about Rough Greens. It supports healthy joints, improves bad breath, boosts energy levels, and so much more. We are what we eat, and that goes for dogs too. Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black is so confident Rough Greens will improve your dog's health. He's offering my listeners a free Jumpstart trial bag so your dog can try it. Get a free Jumpstart trial bag delivered straight to your door in just a few business days. Go to roughgreens.com/Matt or call 844-ROUGH-700. That's ruffgreens.com/Matt or call 844-ROUGH-700 today. And then to support that statement, he says, we're all complicit, and I think of myself, and what could I have done? Yeah, well, you were the president. So yes, if you want to give yourself some of the blame, you were the president of the United States of America for 8 years. You were in charge of American foreign policy. You made decisions about the things that we were going to do overseas. And so if you're looking at the state of the world and saying to yourself, it looks pretty bad right now, maybe I could have done more. Maybe I could have done things differently. You should be saying that. So no, Brock, it's not. We don't all share the blame. You share some of the blame, but that doesn't mean we all do, because only you were president. Maybe he's saying that everyone shares the blame because he is partially responsible, according to him, and anyone who voted for him is therefore partially responsible for that. I mean, maybe in that sense, sure. I guess. I mean, if Barack Obama is admitting, according to his own admission, that he's partially complicit in what's happening in the Middle East, if that's the case, then I guess people who voted for him do share some of the blame. They put him there. But I didn't vote for him either. So I didn't vote for any of the people that are causing this problem or contributing to it. I had nothing to do with it. So no, we are not all complicit. We do not all share the blame. And, I know I'm taking this literally because it's such a literally ridiculous thing to say, but he doesn't mean for it to be taken. It doesn't mean for it to be taken any way at all. He's just babbling. He's babbling around the issue. But the underlying point is to avoid condemning evil acts and the people who choose to carry them out. This is all a elaborate way around any kind of personal responsibility. Because when any bad thing happens, okay, or I should say, when any bad act is committed anywhere in the world, there are people responsible for committing that act. And then there might be other people who are indirectly responsible or indirectly contributed to it. Okay, so the blame might fall squarely and only on the shoulders of the person who does it or the people who do it. It may go beyond that. But it is not true to say that we're all responsible for every bad thing that happens. And you only try to claim that if you want to avoid, again, personal responsibility, if you want to avoid blaming the people who actually carry the blame and who are responsible. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show with no ads, you should go to dailywire.com and use promo code Walsh to get 2 months free on all annual plans. See you there.